Holy crap. The Democrats sweeping win last night. Unbelievable. Well, we can believe that, what does, oh man. Elon Musk calls him Mundummy. You know, as one of the smartest men on the planet calls you a dummy. That's embarrassing. I would say that's embarrassing. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this beautiful planet God has bestowed for us to dwell upon and to steward wisely. We've got Trump calls for sweeping Democrat wins, not good for anybody. And he did a press conference earlier, and we're going to go over that. But first, let's take a look at the disaster. Well, it seems like what's it going to do for us? I mean, how's it going to affect us and the rest of the country? But the mainstream media wants to make us think it does, and I don't know if it will or not. Is this a trend we're going to keep seeing? I mean, look at Dearborn. And what is it? Not Massachusetts. Is it Missouri that they've got a stronghold? The Muslims do there. Put in the comments if I got the state wrong, the city, and then now here you have frickin' New York electing, and he's openly says he's a socialist Democrat. With commie views, right? So Zohan Mendummy. And what the hell is going on in Virginia? Abigail Spanberg wins and beats Sears? What is wrong with y'all? I mean, is it rigged? Is there some cheating going on? Did y'all see the ballots for New York? It's unbelievable. Here's a little sample. I tried to find a bigger one, but here we go. This is a sample of the ballot that New York had yesterday. And you have Mendummy right up here at the top. Now, when we read stuff and look at stuff, it's from left to right, right? That's how we do it. So he's at the very top corner, and then here's Curtis second, and then boom, you got McDummy again. And why are they on there twice? I don't know. But then you come down to the next column, and it shoots way over here, and then here's Como. So Como's way over here in this column. And of course you have at the top, you'll have Democrat, Republican, conservative, and then I guess that probably says independent. I don't really have a good shot of this, but you get the picture. So and a lot of people, and it's got a big format, and it kind of flows that way through the whole thing. So boom, here you have him on there twice, and then people are coming down and they're just having to look, and the paper's probably about this big. So I don't know. I mean, Osmond Gold says people are retarded and stupid. I got this from his channel. This is him going over this and how people will look at it, and he did a pretty good job explaining it. But look, I mean, this is crazy. So I don't know how much of a scam this is or how they designed it, but there is some psychological theory behind how you do a ballot. I mean, these people are evil geniuses, right? To have Como way down here. So why didn't they just eliminate Curtis here or keep Curtis there, right? and then have Como here. I don't even care if Dummy is first, but it should have been out with all three of them, like right there, because they're the three. Boom, there you go. And then why you have him drop way down here? So this format, I do think, is misleading, and there is some psychological pretense to have it this way, right? And there you have it. There you have it. So, and Mickey Shrill, I don't know what's going on here. So you got Mendummy wins, and then here's Shill's victory, and what the hell is with where is she? This. What the hell is this, Virginia? What are you doing? She wouldn't have denounced dude, Jay Jones, which we're going to get to that in a second. So, Jay, he sends out these text messages wanting his opponent dead, or for him to actually, he wants to see his wife's children die in her arms. She wouldn't say, hey, he needs to drop out of the race. She would not say she doesn't want boys and girls bathrooms. I don't know what's going on in Virginia. What the hell is going on? I hope there's an investigation, because it's like there's some shenanigans going on in Virginia. Is Virginia and New York just lost? Are they just gone? Are they just gone? And look at this piece of shit. Yeah, I said it. This piece of shit, you dumbasses in Virginia, you voted him? Now, I didn't go look to see what the stats are, how close it was. So, I mean, if it was a tight race, I apologize to those who voted against him. But good Lord, he freaking wins? I was doing a paper this morning. I was going over, like, the psychology of being on the internet, how it affects us. Let's see if I can pull this up. I mean, I'm not going to read all of this, but I had been doing some research on it. How social media has profoundly reshaped human brain function, particularly in areas governing attention, memory, empathy, and social interaction. These changes stem from neuroplasticity, the brain's lifelong ability to reorganize neural pathways in response to experiences. In other words, saying the more time you spend on the internet, the less empathy people have. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. I'm going to let me move myself down here. I'll move down a little bit. So I'm just going to have this up, and then you guys can stop and read it. Attention and cognitive control, the mechanisms, and how this hijacks the mesolimbic pathways, reducing sustained attention, which is insane to me. So the more you're on, it goes into more details. It is crazy. So I'm just going to scroll up, and then you can stop and read it. And let's see. They did, in 2019, they did 46 studies. Social media using correlates with 15 to 20% reduction in attention and additional persistence, and increased ADHD-like symptoms in adolescents. So I don't know how, do I have this too loud? I don't know maybe it is. Maybe this is the cause of these problems in these schools where, we just had a 6-year-old he shot his teacher. But the thing is that does he get a phone at home? Does she give him stuff? Just give him something to goof with that's electronic. I'm sure he doesn't know how to get on. He probably knows how to get on YouTube. But this is insane. This is just insane. Let me see. So I'm going to bring this up. Let me move me out of the way. Get out of the way. Because I want you guys to read this. You can stop and read it. I mean, this is just crazy stuff here. Here we go. 2018, natural communication. So, anticipating sharing content on social media activities reward centers more than encoding the content itself, prioritizing curation over retention. Basically, meaning you're just scrolling through. We are in a microwave world, and shorts seems to be the thing that people are wanting to. They just want to see a few seconds of something. And then they're not even retaining what they're getting is what this study is saying. Look at this. Reduced gray matter in the anterior cingulate cortex. And like I said, you guys can pause this and read. I highlighted this. I did this in Word. I just thought it was fascinating. Just fascinating. And look at this about the face expressions. So when you're not interacting, I bet basically is what my mind is telling me this, is you're not interacting with people in real life, the real. Welcome to the real. Remember that line in The Matrix? So you're just communicating, because this is called like nonverbal cues, where you're not getting facial expressions or tones if you're just constantly on the internet. You're not interacting with people. So in turn, you're losing the empathy. And there you go. Y'all can read that. Like I said, I'm just going to go read all of this to you. And I thought this was cool. By reducing your media use for 4 weeks increases active empathy. Now, there is a study, which this was done in 2020. Where was that I missed? Okay, that was that. That they did this on college students. And there was a profound difference between pre-internet social media use and then after. And I think this plays out. There you go. You can read that. They did this on 500,000 teens, showed that additional hour of social media correlates with a 9% increase in loneliness, mediated by reduced in-person interaction. Neurobiological heavy users show blatant ventral striatal response to real-world social rewards. I probably butchered that word, but I think we saw this play out when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And so many people were primarily, it was on TikTok, I guess probably 99.9% of it TikTok or Instagram, I guess, or on X, but all this was just reposted through all of these platforms. That just thought it was funny or engaged in glee that they were happy somebody was killed. And it blew my mind. And then I started researching this, and it's just, this is the reason. I think maybe this is a direct correlation with the addiction to social media and not interacting with human beings. You have lost the ability for empathy. I think it's very profound and very, very scary. Very, very scary. So I'm slowly going up so you guys can read this. And because it's just so interesting. Look, detoxing for 4 weeks restores additional control and empathetic accuracy within 6 to 8 weeks. It's crazy. It's crazy. But it return it for speed, correlation, and reward over depth, empathy, and presence. The cost is measurable in gray matter, attention span, and emotional atonement, but not irreversible. So there's hope, people. Take those phones away from your kids. Take it away from your teenagers. Just take it away. And I just thought that was fascinating. I'm not an expert in any of this by no means, but I was like, wow. When I saw Jay Jones won, I was like, my God. How is this possible? We wouldn't be having this conversation probably 10 years ago. You would be shocked. Like, oh my God, this guy literally wants somebody dead and children dead, and the state of Virginia's voters elected him. It's just beyond. And then this woman, let me see here. I gotta fix this. And this woman, again, I don't know what the spread was, how close it was. And Obama comes out and endorses her. I thought the Democrats were all about, giving the blacks or giving the minorities. No. He votes for, he endorses the white woman. Good Lord. Why would he not endorse Sear? She's black. Why? I beg the question. She's a minority. She came to this country. She loves this country. Nope. He stuck with the white, liberal, Democrat, heathen woman. Yes, I said it. I said it. And this right here, this is insane. This is insane, Virginia. I'm shocked, I tell you. I am shocked. Let me see here. What does it say? Democrat Jay Jones was elected Tuesday, Virginia Attorney General, riding a wave of voter dissatisfaction with the White House to overcome the revelation that in 2022 he sent these text messages. The former Virginia delegate defeated Republican incumbent Attorney General Jason Myers. I can't believe he beat him. I liked him. I watched the debate and I thought he was great. Weeks after it emerged that Jones had texted a fellow delegate suggesting that then House Speaker should get 2 bullets in the head. And, of course, his children. It's unbelievable. What does this say? I'm looking to see if it shows... did it show the numbers? I didn't really... I guess I could go and just type in what was the spread, but... Yeah. Wow. Myers faced a difficult political climate in his bid for re-election ever since Democratic Jimmy Carter won the White House in 1976. Every time a new president has been elected, Virginia has voted in the governor the following year from the opposite party. That's an interesting stat. That is an interesting stat. And while the state has had split tickets before, meaning voters backed candidates for statewide offices from a party that differs from the electoral governor, they haven't picked an attorney general from the opposite party in 20 years. What still wears me out is why the hell did you elect Jay Jones? He's a degenerate. He lied and lied and lied. He was driving fast. He's doing all of this. He didn't even do his community service. But I tell you what, if any one of y'all did what he did, you'd probably be sitting in jail. You'd be sitting in jail. Outrage over Jones's text messages is unlikely to fade once Jones is sworn into office. Republicans, including Trump and Myers, describe his conduct from 3 years ago as disqualifying him from the Attorney General's position in 2025. Well, apparently not. Apparently it didn't. Because, yeah, Virginia, you elected this piece of crap. Jones comes from a family of Hampton Roads politicians and civil rights pioneers. Oh, my God. Sure he did. Sure he did. And I can't believe Spanberger won. I'm just shocked. I am just shocked. Good Lord. I think I'm sick. I'm disgusted. I am disgusted with Virginia right now. Look, I was born there. I left. I ran. But hey, I ran to California and it was worse. And then I end up in Tennessee. I lived in Alabama too for a minute when I was a teenager. Actually, I loved it. I loved it there. It was really nice. But look, that was way back in late 70s. Early 80s, right when I guess Reagan's first term in office. I was in Alabama, Mobile, when he was shot. We were watching it on TV. I think I was 15 when that happened. Yeah, and then they had the Brady Bill and all that came out. Not that I was like a real astute in politics back then, but I remember sitting with my family and we were watching the news and this happened. It was big time news. Let's see what Trump's going to say. This is just a 12-minute video. We're going to go over this, see what he has to say, his remarks about the election. Trump calls sweeping Democrats win not good for anybody. And again, I said earlier in this video that, how is it really affecting us? Or is this something we're going to continue to see? And before we dive into this, I had saw a study several years ago, and this guy had did a chart, and he was talking about us, America, and even other countries not replenishing the populace, right? They're not having children because we had women's lib and all of this crap. Probably a factor is welfare, food stamps, the ability to get a divorce with irreconcilable differences, making it easier for divorce, making it easier for women, single women with a child, to get on these programs. So now government becomes daddy. So you have a lot of these factors playing into this that leads us up to we're not replenishing the population. So this guy does this chart. He says if we continue on this trend and we have migration into the country from other countries such as Muslims and the Mexicans. And basically he was saying it was like Muslim and Islam would probably become, statistically, would become the dominant religion. And I was like, what? When I was reading this, and this was several years ago. Several years ago I saw this. It was a video on YouTube. He did a whole chart on the stats. And lo and behold, here we go. We're not having kids. People are having, people who want kids are having problems with kids. So you got that, what is that? The thing that they just passed, Trump administration did to make it easier for low cost insurance coverage of this, to have a kid, some kind of in vitro, I forget the acronym for it, but you get that helps them get a kid where they take the egg and stuff and all that, and apparently it was like $10,000 to $20,000, like I guess per procedure, like it was like super expensive. So they're trying to bring those costs down to help these families who want children, have children because they're having problems having kids. So what is this, something to do with the food? I'm thinking it's the food. Something's happening to where, which is scary, guys. It's a scary thing. Which, one, we're not having kids because women were sold a bill of goods of saying you don't have to be barefooted and pregnant in the kitchen. Go get your career. Go get your career. You don't need a guy. You can do all this by yourself. And then most women, once they get to their 30s, they're kind of lonely. And, now they want to get married, but now they're not vibrant and as beautiful as they were when they were in their 20s, 19, 20, 25, right? And that's somewhere where they should have been already in a relationship, having a child. But everything's ass backwards, right? Because if a woman gets married early, if she goes ahead and gets married early, has 2 or 3 kids, by the time she's 30 and the kids are pretty much grown, they're in high school, she doesn't have to do as much as she did when they were little. That's when you go. That's when you go. Go to college. Go get a degree. Go do something. Because then guess what? When the kids leave the house, they've left the nest. What are you going to do? You need something to do. And then when they start having kids and they can bring the grandkids over, you have time for that. So it's been backwards. It's been a lie that the feminazis is perpetrated on the American people back in the 60s and 70s, and this is the fruit of that. This is the fruit of that. That now we're not giving birth. Because look, Muslims and Mexicans aren't aborting their children. They're having children. And this stat that I was telling y'all about, and y'all could go research it, is suggesting and saying, and it said within 50 years. And I looked at this, gosh, I don't know if it's been a decade or 5 years, whatever, when I saw this. But RFK brought this up in a press conference a couple of weeks ago. He said our numbers are down. We should be at like 2.5 or whatever it is, and we're at like 1 point something of replenishing the population with the natural citizens of America. So this is a problem happening all over the world. It's not just here. But look at Dearborn. Look at what's happening in New York. These populations of these Muslim populations, I think there's pockets in Texas as well. That this is happening, and then I'm seeing this play out over the past couple of years, and I'm like, my God, the stat I looked at several years prior, this is coming to fruition. This is coming to fruition, and then now coupled with the psychological impact of how it's rewiring our brains and the lack of empathy, that maybe these young people who are spending all this time on social media and the internet, they have no empathy. They've got brain rot, plus the school system, the Board of Education, brain rot there, coupled with the brain rot on media, right? And they're all digesting this. Look what's happening. They celebrate death. They embrace socialism and communism. Because maybe they feel like they just want instant gratification and things just be easy and simple and let the government just handle everything. Is what they truly want? You think if they took six to 8 weeks or 4 weeks or so to detox from their social media, because it said in that thing we just read that your brain can just basically readjust, and then you gain the empathy, you probably gain more understanding. But we live in a microwave world. We want instant gratification. We just want instant gratification. But it's frightening because I think these two things, the social media phenomena with the brain rot, the education system, the feminazis, the welfare system, all of this contributed to, and then women not having children. Men, men and women are just have become lovers of themselves. It's all about themselves. And even if they have children, they're in broken homes. There's no man figure around. The woman's doing God knows what and drugs. We're just seeing it every day play out. The deplorable conditions of the mind of Americans is frightening. So I don't know. I'm just saying I'm seeing this. It's disturbing. And I don't know what we can do about it. I don't have any answers other than parents, do not give your kid a phone. Do not get them on the computer. The school here my son's going to took away the computer from the elementary. I think they should take it from the middle school. We need to get back to them physically holding books and reading and physically actually writing and literally letting them use their brain instead of the computer just basically doing stuff for you. Obviously, technology is wonderful. The computer, the AI, but there's other aspects to it that are detrimental to young people, because I think we all need to have physical experiences in the real. Welcome to the real. I love the Matrix, by the way. So welcome to the real, welcome to reality, and you need to have that interaction with other human beings, seeing people's face expressions and just the interaction and learning how to act in a social setting. It's phenomenal. Okay, I'm done rambling on. Let's finish this up here. Let's go. Let's see what Trump has to say.
But I thought we'd have a discussion after the press leaves about what last night represented and what we should do about it, and also about the shutdown and how that relates to last night. I think if you read the pollsters, the shutdown was a big factor, negative for the Republicans, and that was a big factor. And they say that I wasn't on the ballot was the biggest factor, but I don't know about that, but I was honored that they said that. And I just want to thank everybody for being here.
So they're saying it was a big factor of the government shutdown. So is that a lack of education and a lack of knowledge and a lack of people doing their own research that they blame the Republicans for the shutdown? We know we only needed a handful of more Democrats to pass the clean bill. Do they not understand that the Democrats want to keep spending money and give it to the illegals? Or do these young people with no empathy and brain rot, because they spend all their time on social media, they've lost touch, that they don't seem to understand what? They don't care? Are they not seeing the crime in their own city? I'm just trying to wrap my head around this. How can you not logically see what's happening in America through the Biden administration? Obviously, Trump won overwhelmingly because most of the country wants this shit to stop. But you have these pockets of these blue states where there's just some serious brain rot. What's going on here? I don't understand it. Rush Limbaugh, I love quoting Rush Limbaugh. He says it's kind of hard you can't understand insanity because you are sane. So I can't wrap my head around it. Why would you blame the Republicans? They done showed us everything that the Democrats wanted. They wanted like $1.5 trillion to send money to other countries for gay projects in Haiti. Freaking stupid stuff in sending money to the Palestinians for some media group. And there was a whole list, y'all. That's just two examples. There was a whole list of money to go to these people all across the world over some dumbass shit. And they want to keep illegals on Obamacare, Medicaid, whatever it is, giving them food stamps. Millions upon millions of dollars, tax dollars for illegals. But I guess New York and Virginia, they're asleep at the wheel. They're just asleep at the wheel. I mean, how could they not see this? That this, maybe that's not an indication. Maybe Trump is wrong on that. That these elections were based on because of the shutdown. I don't know. I mean, that could be just completely irrelevant. We just saw a stat that Virginia has would always elect the opposite of whoever's in office. So Republicans are in office, so now they elect a Democrat, which is stupid. But it's statistics, it's stats.
Special thanks to Vice President J.D. Vance, who's doing a terrific job. J.D., thank you very much. As well as the Senate leadership team that has been working very hard, working really, I will tell you, nobody's working any harder representing the American people, including Senator John Thune. John, thank you. Great job. Senator John Barrasso. John, thank you very much. Senator Tom Cotton, wherever you may be. Tom, thank you. Thank you, Tom. Thank you. Senator Shelley Moore Capito, who's been very involved. Thank you, Shelley. Senator James Lankford from one of my favorite states, 77 out of 77. I always say 77 out of 77. Reagan was 56. That was the record. We got every one of them. Thank you, James. And a fantastic friend of mine and an incredible advocate during the election a year ago, Tim Scott. Thank you, Tim.
We need to speed this up.
So as you know, we are in the midst of a disastrous Democrat-created government shutdown, and it is Democrat-created, but I don't think they're getting really the blame that they should. That's now officially the longest shutdown in American history. The Democrat radicals in the Senate have shown zero interest in reopening the government, and I don't think they'll act so soon. A lot of people disagree. I've been saying for the last 30 days, we've had 4 or 5 different points. Yes, sir, they're going to get it right now. We should have it done in a day. I've heard that about 4 times. I heard it after Kings. They said I was a king. And I heard it after Kings. I heard it after a couple of other moments in time. And I said, no, I don't believe so. And now I heard it's after the election. I don't believe so. I think they will. I think they're kamikaze pilots. I just got back from Japan. I talked about the kamikaze pilots. I think these guys are kamikaze. They'll take down the country if they have to. So I don't think so. Millions of Americans.
Well, it might be a point to consider. Did the Democrats want to wait till after these elections in Virginia and in New Jersey and New York because they could use the blame game? They are evil geniuses. So that could be a play. I don't know. We'll see. Like if today or tomorrow the government opens.
Americans are going to be without SNAP benefits. And I will say about SNAP benefits, so when I was president, we had $7 billion worth, and now they have many times that because these benefits were given to anybody that asked, and they're up to, I hear, just many times, $47 billion.
Good Lord.
So it wasn't the purpose of SNAP. It was for people that really had problems, down and out, people that really had problems. But during Biden, they gave it to anybody that wanted it. I think it's something you have to talk about because the numbers are incredible. But countless public servants are now not being paid, and the air traffic control system is under increasing strain. We must get the government back open soon, and really immediately. We have to get it up. We have the hottest economy we've ever had.
Now, are y'all going to agree with Trump? Because I think there's some... There's a lot of factors here that all these illegals and able working body people are on this program, which it's everybody's tax dollars. Do you think that we should just blatantly not be checking these people, giving food stamps to illegals? There's people on food stamps that that sell their food stamps to buy other crap. Fingernails, hair, eyelashes, clothing, everything but food. I mean, it's a big undertaking, but we did a thing yesterday or the day before that they had asked, when Trump got into office, had asked for data from every state. And I think they've got data back from 21 states. What's up with the other states? Anyway, 21 states turned in their paperwork on who's all on the food stamp program. And they have found so much fraud just in a very short time. Why aren't each state, why aren't they being hammered? And why are they not controlling the purse of the money coming into their state to give to their citizens? I'm just asking questions here because, damn, we elected these people to control the money that's coming in. And yes, we want our people who need it get assistance, of course. Either they're vets, they're disability people, parents who have a disabled child, and maybe the mom has to stay home. She needs a little bit of extra supplement because she's giving him 24-hour care. All that is fine. But all of these illegals, people double dipping, people who are on it that are able-bodied working people on it, it's just common sense. And we have lost the reasons of common sense. The stats and statistics are showing us the brain rot of young people being on the social media, being on the internet, has made them non-empathetic. They are not, there's no empathy. They don't care. Everybody should just get it. Everybody should just get this. It just falls under all of that, right? It just falls under all of that. This is where we are. And then we're having to have this discussion. And why are these people protesting ICE? Because they want these criminals in the country? It just doesn't make any sense, right? It's just crazy on crazy. Like, we just woke up, guys, and we're in the twilight zone through Biden and Harris administration. And now it's another twilight zone by these left-wing libtards bucking Trump at every turn when he's trying to fix stuff. It's just crazy.
And it's affecting the stock market now a little bit. But the stock market, as of Friday, has hit many record highs during the last 9 months, many. And it will again. This is just the beginning, because when these plants that are being built right now start opening up, we've never had anything like this as a boom. There's a construction boom right now, but that's going to be bigger than that. That's going to be an economic boom as soon as they open up, and it's going to be something special. We have car companies coming in. When I was in Japan, Toyota, Mr. Toyota, I said, "What's your name?" "Toyota." I said, "Oh, you're rich." They said, "How much of the company do you own?" 92.1%. I said, "I'm glad you said the one." He wants to be. I said, "You're a rich guy." And he said, "I'm investing $10 billion in the U.S." And you know who I'm talking about, right? You introduced me, Mr. Senator. You introduced me originally when you were the ambassador to Japan. He's still good. He's still strong. But he had no interest in investing in this country. Now he's investing $10 billion as of 1 week ago in building new plants. We have auto plants coming in incredibly, but we have AI and all of them. And we can't be extorted to give $1.5 trillion to people that came into the country illegally, many from prisons, many drug dealers. A lot of people came in from mental institutions. They want to give a lot of money to the people that came in illegally. We have to get them out. We can't. No country can sustain that. That's not like an attack on our country. In no country, these are not going to be productive people. These are going to be anti-productive people. And we can all have big hearts. I have a bigger heart than anybody, but we can't let that happen.
No.
It's time for Republicans to do what they have to do, and that's terminate the filibuster. It's the only way you can do it. And if you don't terminate the filibuster, you'll be in bad shape. We won't pass any legislation.
I heard an argument about this morning on the radio after I took my kid to school this morning, that they were saying, well, the problem is if they eliminate the filibuster, God forbid when the liberal Democrats get in office, because look, their party is changing. They've gone so far left that they've gone, well, you got Mendumi he's a professed Democrat socialist. So this part, and you got AOC. So you have, you got Jay Jones, even though he's an attorney general, he advocates killing people. So you have these leaders of the Democrat Party that are reshaping what the Democrats are and what they're becoming. And God forbid they ever get back in office. And guess what? If they do, a big if, and maybe it's a big win. Maybe not if, but when they get in office, then the Republicans can't stop them. The Republicans won't be able to do a filibuster. So this is the argument. Now, I hear what Trump is saying. He's saying, well, maybe we need to do away with this so we can get on and get done what we need to get done. But this could have implications in the future whenever, if ever they gain power. And God, Lord, please help us that they do not. And that is the goal, because it'll be worse than Biden and Harris. It will be worse, way worse, much, much worse.
There'll be no legislation passed for 3.25. We have 3.25 years, so that's a long time. But when they can't do an extension, and John, I think they've done an extension every single time they've ever been asked forever. This is the first time they haven't done an extension. Extensions are supposed to be easy, but if they won't do an extension, they won't do any bill, even a simple bill. And we should do our own bills. We should get out. We should do our own bills. We should open up. We should start tonight with the country's open. Congratulations. Then we should pass voter ID. We should pass no mail-in voting. We should pass all the things that we want to pass, make our elections secure and safe, because California is a disaster. Many of the states are disasters. But can you imagine when they vote almost unanimously against voter ID? All we want is voter ID. You go to a grocery store, you have to give ID. You go to a gas station, you give ID. But for voting, they want no voter ID. That's only for one reason, because they cheat. We would pass that in 15 minutes. If you don't get it, you'll never pass that. You'll never talk about mail-in ballots. Mail-in ballots make it automatically corrupt. If you have mail-in ballots, automatically it's correct. Even Jimmy Carter, they had the Carter Commission after he got out of office, and he had a group of very distinguished people, Democrats and Republicans, and they passed, they recommended things take place. It was a long time ago. And they said about mail-in ballots, if there is mail-in ballots, there will definitely be corruption, because, they pass through too many hands. I mean, you go in to vote, and they want your card. Even me, I went into Palm Beach. You go in to vote, they want your card, you're this, you're that. They say, I'm sorry to do this, sir, but I have to look at your identification. I said, that's all right. I love that. But, you're really not going to get away with much. It was very, very professional and very good, the way it's supposed to be. But these people don't want that. They have legislation in California where it's illegal to ask somebody for voter ID. If you ask somebody for voter ID, if you're an official, and you say, I'd like to see your voter ID, they can arrest you, okay? They can arrest you because they want to cheat, and they get away with it, and the Republicans let them get away with it, and we won't do that if we have the filibuster. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, and we're going to see if we can sway, because I know we have a lot of, not a lot, I'd say half feel this way, maybe a little bit less than half, and it's time to have a really good talk. If I thought that they weren't going to pass the filibuster, I wouldn't even bring it up. They're going to pass it within the first hour. If they take power, and it's more likely that they take power if we don't do it, because we're not going to be passing any legislation, not going to approve anything. We're going to go 3.25 years. There won't be one bill that we're going to pass. Because the easiest thing to pass is exactly right now what they won't pass. And they'll do that, and they'll wreak havoc. But let's assume they get in. They're doing it anyway, so it wouldn't matter. They're doing it anyway. And, I have a case where I have great U.S. attorneys that can't be approved because of the blue slips. The blue slips, I think you should terminate blue slips, too. It's a mental termination because it's really a custom. But if you have a Democrat senator or two, two is bad, but it doesn't make any difference. If you have one senator writes a negative letter on some great U.S. attorney, we had it in Manhattan, Southern District, Jay Clayton, one of the most respected lawyers in the whole country, by far, one of the most respected, and couldn't get approved. The courts approved him. The courts couldn't believe it. They did it like instantly. He went to the best schools, got the best marks, top of his class. Everything was perfect. I mean, he was like led the perfect life. Went to Sullivan and Cromwell. Almost immediately became the head of Sullivan and Cromwell. You know, the most prestigious law firm, I would say, in the country, just about. Whether it's Sullivan or two or three I could name, but Sullivan, I would say, really maybe number one. He was the head of Sullivan and Cromwell for like 20 years. He went to the SEC, was flawless. He did it for me. He was the SEC chairman. He was flawless. Then he went to Apollo, where he was the chairman of Apollo, and was flawless. Everything went good. The stock went through the roof and everything. I asked him to go to the Southern District, and he said, "I'll do what you'd like to do, sir." This is a very high-quality person. But he couldn't get approval from Schumer. Schumer didn't approve him. The best student, the best schools, everything. He's like flawless. And the courts actually said, "You're not approving Jay Clayton," right? Lindsay, you heard this. The courts actually interceded, and they approved him. But that's an unusual guy. We have other people that are really good, but people don't know how good. Top students, top colleges, and they're U.S. attorneys, and they won't be approved. They're not going to be approved. We have one in Los Angeles who's phenomenal, but no, the senators, the Democrats are, you know, again, they're kamikazes. The Democrats are not going to approve them. Blue slips are a disaster. So the only people I can get approved are Democrats. I was told that by the Democrats. We'll only approve Democrats. I said, really, is that right? Well, not going to work that way. Not going to work that way with me.
Wow. That is
Your CPAP
crazy. Well, so I guess what I take from here is that he's saying if they don't do away with the filibuster, they're not going to get nothing done for the next 3 years. So maybe is that in looking to the future, taking a big gamble that things are going to get so good. We're going to fix everything. Things are going to get so good. Then you're going to elect maybe J.D. Vance. I'm sure he'll probably run. And God willing, he'll get 2 terms. And then he can continue to get the country back on track. But I guess we'll have to see how that plays out in the next decade. So, I don't know, guys. I mean, he's got to get this stuff done. He's got to get this stuff done. Now, look, maybe if they get rid of the filibuster, and then they get these laws passed across the nation, have it admitted to the Constitution, amendment to the Constitution, that you have to be a U.S. citizen to vote across the board. That's going to help clean up a lot of the fraud and do away with the mail-in ballots. Just do away with them. And then somebody needs to think of a better way for those ballots, because that ballot in New York was terrible. I think it's misleading. Yeah, I mean, that's just my opinion. I won't really linger on of that. But anyway, there you have it. I hope you learned something today. I learned some today doing all that research on the mental aspect of how the internet and social media is wiring our brains. And what's scary is that it's doing it to children. I mean, my kid come home, this was a few years ago because he's in 10th grade now. I think he was in sixth grade maybe, 6th or 7th grade, whatever. He come home, he's crying. I'm like, what's wrong? What's wrong? You know, I'm thinking something's wrong. He says, I'm the only kid without a phone. And I just busted out laughing. No, I did not feel sorry for him. Once I knew why he was crying. I thought it was fun. I just started laughing. I started laughing. It was so funny. I said, "You are my concern. You're not having a phone. You're not doing this. You're going to go draw, play your guitar. You go outside and shoot some basketball. You're going to, because he's a really good artist." I said, "You're going to go do some productive things. And then maybe you and I'll play some video games later. Like I have a PlayStation 5 and we could do a few things together, but it's all limited, right?" It is all limited. Another time he came home and he was describing to me a haircut he wanted. And this was around the same time period. And my older son was here too. So he's describing the haircut, and I just looked at him and I'm saying, "You're telling me you want a mullet?" And then my older son just busted out laughing, and then I did, and we were both dying laughing. And he got so mad at me and my older son. He got so mad. He's like, "What's so funny?" I said, and he didn't even know the haircut was called a mullet, by the way. It was hysterical because it was like, this was probably 3 or 4 years ago. And he's all like, "Yeah, everybody has this cut." And I was like, "You are not getting a mullet." You can cry. I don't care. And I'm laughing while I'm saying this. I'm like, there is no way you're getting a mullet. That's just it. We're done. You could go stomp in your room, but no demonstrating. My mother used to say that. Don't demonstrate. That means just go in there and throw a fit. But I said, you can go downstairs and you can cry about it, but you're not getting a mullet. Oh, guys, you can't make this stuff up. And I'm like, how the hell did the mullet come back? But it did. Now, it's not now. I've seen a couple of kids at his school, maybe 1 or 2 I've seen since I have to pick him up, that actually have a mullet. But it was crazy. It was crazy. So now the new style, and I don't know if it's so much this year, but last year it was where all the hair was like right here in the front, and they kept doing this, and it'd be way down. The moo, what is that animal? It, it was hilarious. I'm like, every kid had last year. And then, of course, he wanted his hair to look like that, too. I was like, oh, my God. I said, can't you just think of something that you want that's you, individual? Why are you going with the crowd? I always say stuff to him like that. I said, you need to think for yourself. But he wanted his hair a certain way. I'm like, okay. All right. Okay, whatever. But you're not getting the other one that he wanted a few years ago. My goodness, it's hilarious. But anyway, guys, there you have it. There you go. He's saying he was going to have the press leave, and then they were going to talk about all this stuff. I was like, oh man, I wanted to be the fly on the wall and listen to how they're going to discuss this. So, what do you think? Put in the description. Do you think that we should do away with the filibuster and hope and pray the liberal turds never get in office? Do you think it's a bad idea? What do you think on the tariffs? Oh, by the way, the Supreme Court, SCOTUS, is hearing arguments about the tariffs today. So I don't know when they'll rule, but they're hearing the arguments. And I might take a listen to some of that and see and get some analysts. Obviously, listen to somebody who can explain some of the legal terms to me, because I'm ignorant in that area. Well, thank you. Have a wonderful day. And God bless.